Dude,
Jamie, how you doing, buddy?
what's up, man?
This is Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if you were told, but Jeff's not going to be here today, and I'm supposed to take over the interview. So I don't know if that's cool with you. I could go away or whatever.
Dude, I love you, man. Are you kidding me?
This is great. This is fantastic. Um, okay, so here's the deal. I wrote some questions. Some other people wrote some questions. We could do the questions. We could riff, maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
Okay,
Do you
so
remember we worked together?
we did.
Yeah.
What I don't remember. What was it?
It was in Bowfinger. It was in 1998.
Right, right. Would you? That's right. That's right. We. Okay, this is a funny story for you, but not for
Okay.
me. So you should tell it.
Oh,
Remember what
okay.
you do
Well,
with? Remember what you do with the catering cart? Remember
yeah. Well, you got it. And like, you were always talking about that and how if they didn't have, because you like Fritos. Not many people realize that you love
right,
Fritos. Like,
right.
you will eat Doritos, but you really enjoy Fritos.
I do.
and and when they didn't have Fritos, you were a little bit like annoyed, but you were like, it's okay. I'm gonna do a Dorito. But yeah, you love chili con carne Fritos. Not many people
Right,
know that.
right. And you had my back because when I started flipping out and I started smashing things in the dressing room, I had basically a cathartic experience to which I saw myself as a Frito,
Hmm.
and I was, not just a Frito, but a Frito Bandito, a Spanish Frito.
Yeah, and it was great. And then you, me, and Heather Graham, we all did yoga, and everything was chill after that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just go into this. And by the way, if you want to we could edit this however you want to edit it. But
Okay.
I just have some questions. Okay, here we go. Wikipedia said that you used to work at Red Lobster.
Yeah.
You want to get into that or what?
Robert. Um, that was a while ago, Robert. I was 16 years old,
Right.
and I basically that was like one of my first jobs ever, and I worked in the Red Lobster in Springfield Avenue
Right.
in outside of Philadelphia. And when I came to LA, one of the first jobs I got was Red Lobster in Sherman Oaks because I got a reference from the Red Lobster in Pennsylvania.
So you knew you were going to get the Red Lobster gig because you had a referral, basically.
Well, I went in the Red Lobster myself. I know, I know cheddar bay biscuits. I know, the different things, the hush puppies. I know
Right.
Sunday brunch specials, and I talked the lobster talk, and then they were cool with it.
So you had this ethereal, this sort of like disconnected, this sort of like post bio confidence going on just because you knew the cheddar potatoes, you knew where they got the lobsters. So you had pusher pressure. You push them with the pressure.
Yeah, I would say push and pressure. I would say that it was known. There was no guarantees, but working at a Red Lobster, knowing the ins and outs, there's something called, Robert, I don't know, when you work at Red Lobster, they didn't have power vacuums. They had something called a hokey, and that's a
Right.
hand vacuum. So basically, whenever you had the vacuum, the guy would say, okay, hokey, clean up your station in hokey. And so I knew about the hokey, and they were impressed that I
Was
knew how to do
was
that.
the machine called a hokey? Was that what it was called?
It's called the hokey, yeah, and it's
It's
a
called a
little
hokey.
hand kind of like vacuum,
Did,
but it
did
doesn't
it
have any power.
doesn't have any power? Well, then how would it work?
Because it's like imagine like imagine like a hand cutting your grass. What is that called? The lawnmower that cuts the
Oh,
grass without any power.
it's a lawnmower, but it's manual. Okay.
Manual mower. So
Right.
imagine like a manual mower, but for vacuums with no power. Does that make sense?
It sure
Brushes
does.
and
It sure does. It just absolutely does. Like in a real, like sort of in this post era, this sort of like 7-Eleven Quasimodo, this sort of like, the ethereal sort of like Vancouver, you know what I mean?
yeah, totally Vancouver.
Do you believe in global warming?
I believe so, yes, because it was 117 degrees last week, and now it's like 73, and it was only one day.
Okay. Just wanted to know. In 2007, you appeared on Criminal Minds as a cannibal serial killer. What was that like? And, can you draw from that or what?
Draw what?
I mean, can you draw this sort of colonialism, this sort of like backwards, this sort of gate, this sort of wooden out exterior? I mean, obviously you've never eaten anyone before, but how close have you come?
No. Well, because you get into your roles. I mean, you're one of the best actors out there. So you commit. I mean, I didn't eat anyone, but I studied people that did eat people on the internet. I mean, I did look into that. It was based on a few people that were real-ish. And you Iron Man, there is no Iron Man that I know of. But did you study like jetpacks and stuff? I'm assuming you did.
Sure. Well, I've been working with a jetpack company, and it's not as easy as you think. But there are back ways you can get into it, like Jetpackers Anonymous and jetpackers.com are two wonderful websites you can get onto. But it's like, it's a trend. It's like real. It's like what you want it to. It's like transformative, like backwards sort of, pomp and circumstance and.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another question. Do you check your bags when you fly?
Well, Robert, I got I do merch, I don't know. Jeff would know, I don't know, because you don't really do stand up that much, I don't think. But merch, I bring merch, and I know this is going to be outdated and stuff, but I have some.
Now, when you say merch, you mean merchandise.
Merchandise, yeah.
Sure.
And I do the DVDs and from my old special. And I know you're going, who watches DVDs anymore? They're like coasters and stuff, but I have the DVDs from my special. And
do people try to make jokes about that? Like, oh, what are these DVDs? What am I supposed to do with these? Use them as coasters? Like, do people make those stupid jokes?
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I just said that.
Like, what's the stupidest joke anyone's ever tried to make about these DVDs?
Hey, when am I supposed to use this as a coaster?
Okay. This is weird. Because I know you, but I don't know you, but I see you, but I can't taste you. I know what you look like. I can see you over a film projector kind of thing, the TV, the fucking IMDb or whatever. But what I know you specifically from is a show that I didn't know you from at first, because you were so great at the characters and Kinney Experience. I mean, Jamie Kinney Experiment and Experience was an experience when you watched Experiment. But, do you feel that you got to do so many things that you were capable of doing in that show because you did so many different things?
I liked to, be able to act as different characters. Yes, like Jeff. He's not here, but when I look to people like Jeff and stuff and who do different characters, and yeah, it's always nice as you as well. You like to go and play different characters. So yes, it was an expunging of my soul. It's nice to really disappear in a character. You know what I'm saying?
What was your favorite one you did?
Old Man Waiter. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, that was a beautiful one.
It was the one about a guy who was retiring from a job, Maggiano's in Woodland Hills, and it was his last day. And he, we asked people if they would allow him to serve them, and he had a rascal. You know what those are?
Sure.
And
it's a little vacuum, right?
No, you're getting that confused with the hokey. The rascal is the driving thing. It's like a powered driving cart for old people.
For golf?
No, it's just like to get around errands and stuff. You ever see them? They have like a basket on it. A basket.
I know what a basket is. You don't have to talk to me like that.
The basket on the front and basket on the side. And it's a rascal. And usually
it's a rascal.
Yeah.
You vacuum with it.
No vacuuming. It's a car. It's like a scooter that you sit in for old people with a basket.
Is there a scooter you don't sit in? That's a real question. I have that written down.
I would I would say I'd segue.
Oh boy, that's good. That's really good.
And what
That was
about that one wheel thing?
sure, sure. Why not? That's a unicycle.
No, there's a power one wheel that you sit on with wood and you one wheel and it powers you everywhere. It's called the one wheel.
No, now I just feel like you're messing with me because
No, dude, these are gadgets that are out and you would know because you are the gadget man.
okay, maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I'm not going to hold myself to it. I think there's a sort of like this juxtaposition that we're having now. I see this sort of like just very camera angle you're at, and people can't see the camera angle, but it's like in the intimidation factor with the lemons in the glass. This is what I try to find in myself in this sort of like this sort of postmodern upside down pancake atmosphere. So how do you learn your lines? Because I've always been curious about that. I have a difficult time learning lines at times.
Dude, me too. Well, I think you just do it. You say this. Hopefully, people know to shoot after. So, like, I like to go second or third. If there's like a 4-person scene, I like to hopefully go last and learn them naturally. But if they start on me,
now, what do you mean? What do you mean learn them naturally? For those who didn't understand.
well, so let's say we're doing a scene and it's me, you, Hemsworth, and Jeff, right?
Sure.
And somehow the Avengers wrote me and Jeff in. And I'm like a guy, you guys came to a Red Lobster. I'm there, and Jeff is like, the shift manager, and I'm like the busboy, let's say. Long short, we would do your coverage. Coverage is when they shoot you. Hopefully they would start with you.
Okay, this is now you're trying to be esoteric, I believe. Is that the right word?
Just trying to give an example.
Okay, but you're talking to me as if I've never shot a movie. I'm just asking you how you learn your lines, and then your answer was naturally. And I find that to be intimidating. I find that to be grotesque and weird and strange.
I didn't mean it like that. I'm so sorry. I meant like just as the actors are doing it, hopefully I'm last to go, and naturally by the time the coverage comes to me, I'll know.
Oh, so you you have this like osmosis, kind of like this godlike thing or whatever. Okay.
Well,
okay. You don't have to answer that.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead and answer it.
Well, if you say them enough, you'll learn them. But I used to do a thing where I would say them 3 times while I was trying to juggle. That's also true.
You would do what 3 times? The whole scene 3 times?
I would say the line 3 times as juggling, and then the next one, and not try to and concentrate on the juggling. And then that way, if you can juggle and remember the line, you're not going to forget them.
Well, how do you know that the juggling's not the thing that's throwing you off? I mean, maybe without the balls, you know the lines perfectly well.
Well, because if you can juggle and know the lines with the balls, then you don't have to know the lines. Does that make sense? Because I'm thinking of the balls and not the lines.
Well, I'm thinking of the balls now too.
Yeah, and if you think of the balls, the lines will come naturally.
We're both thinking about balls.
Yeah, but you're not thinking of the lines.
Do you have a favorite movie that I've done?
Tons. Less Than Zero, Pickup Artist. Dude, so many. First Iron Man, multiple Iron Mans, the Avengers. I can go down and down.
Well, I rather you didn't.
Weird Science.
Okay, but I asked you
Back to School.
Okay, you like all those movies? You think I'm great?
Yes, you raised me, and then you continue to raise me, and you still raise me.
Now
you understand?
Now I'm thinking about balls.
Well, that has got nothing to do with it on that part. I'm just saying, in high school, you taught me how to be a high schooler, and now you're teaching me to be a superhero.
And you've grown up to be a beautiful man. You really have, And I would say my favorite movie for you, there's two-way tie, but the first one was Scream. And by the way, I didn't.
Thank you. You weren't scared at all?
I was nervous at the beginning, but then I sort of just kind of lamented. And, because you were the nice guy, I thought you were the killer, because like you're such a nice guy. So you kind of threw me off, but this is sort of like, this feeling you get, this tension that you get now. I get nervous naturally.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know that, but I get actually very, very nervous, especially when I have to make like a sandwich, because it's like I don't know what to put on it. And I don't know how much to put on. Even if I know to put ham and mayonnaise and lettuce, I don't know how much. So I kind of freak out, and I kind of get nervous, and I take a bath.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought you into this sort of like? I mean,
Wait, you go to the bath if you're mid sandwich. You'll stop to take a bath to figure out how to finish the sandwich.
Oh yeah, and then people just clean up whatever's on the counters. Yeah, I know. I take a bath. I put my retainer in, and I just try to stay submerged as long as I can.
Do you ever finish the sandwich?
Okay, that's a personal question. I choose not to accept that, and I choose to reject that. As a matter of fact.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, if I can't figure it out, no one figures it out. It's over. I just had pasta, or I have like leg of lamb or something.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Malibu's Most Wanted. Are you still Malibu's most wanted, or what?
Have
you been to Malibu lately? What's your deal? Have you seen your headshot up?
Dude, you know that market? Because you live out there.
Sure.
Do you know the Malibu market?
Of course.
The dude who has that, that's speaking of sandwiches, that's the best sandwich maybe in the country. Do you agree with that?
I do not agree with that, because I don't eat sandwiches made elsewhere. I eat sandwiches made in my house.
Okay.
And if I can't do it, no one can. So I don't eat a lot of sandwiches.
Okay. You said you make a sandwich and you said you take a bath.
I try to make a sandwich. I attempt to make a sandwich. There are times when I am successful and I am able to make the sandwich, but many times, 9 out of 10, I'm able to do it. Just take a nap in a bathtub with retainer stuck in my mouth.
Okay. I get it. Well, the guy from the Malibu Mart didn't have my picture up, but he was like, yo, what's up, B-Red? And then he put like extra turkey on it. And
which, by the way, isn't always a favor. When people like add like a bunch of cheese on something, it's like, I don't want all that cheese. Like, I appreciate it. You've seen me in movies, but you don't have to load it up with mayonnaise. I get the fact that you're a fan. Do you feel the same way? It's like, give me a break with like double deep frying stuff.
Yeah. Well, in this one, he wasn't deep frying anything, but he took a turkey, which was protein, which I like protein. And he put a little extra on there and he said, what's up, B-Rad? And he kind of gave me the look. So I was like, okay, he knows we're in Malibu. It's still my hood, even though it's my hood fictionally. She's still representing for me on the turkey thing.
And did you eat this sandwich?
Yeah, I did not be stupid. I gobbled it down.
Can you eat a sandwich in one sitting? Are you able to?
I half it and then I half the halves. So usually it's 4, but I can do 3 easily. But as I'm getting older, I like to not stuff myself. Kettle chips too.
Those are very tough on the teeth, though. They
are, but Jesus, salt and pepper. I know you went off the chip farm for a little while, but you eat them or no? I know you were doing a jicama chip thing for a while.
I did jicama for a while. I was lost, and it was a very strange, weird, this sort of outlandish, this sort of ethereal thing. And I was into it for a while, but I had to cut back. You just have to cut back. The reality is, no matter where you are, you have to cut back. It's like, at some point, I mean, you're a skinny guy. You're in great shape. I'm actually kind of small myself, although my shoulders are taking over.
But you're in great shape, dude.
It looks like it.
No, fucking Sherlock Holmes. Get abs.
It's all CG.
Really?
Yeah. Even the suits. Even the suits.
You had an 8-pack.
Suits. As a matter of fact, I was even deep faked, and I wasn't even there. There was a guy doing my voice. It sounded like me. I wasn't even there.
Wow.
It's weird.
That looked in shape. You're CGI you.
So I'm going to ask you, and I'm only going to ask you once. And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. I like to ask this question. Usually when I get asked a guest host, I like to ask this question. And the question is as follows. I can't find the question. Where the hell is it? to cut this part. What the fuck is that? Okay. All right. Okay. So here's another question. You can answer this however you want. Take as long as you want, but I think it's an important question to be answered, especially from you. You have a lot of wisdom. You've done a lot in this business. Where did we come from, and why are we here?
As people or as actors?
Don't look to me for the answer. Take your time.
I mean, dude, that's a lot.
Okay, but just make it a little. If something is a lot, you make it a little. So give me a 3-word answer. Is that harder?
Ish. I mean, the creating, the being is in the creating, which comes from the doing. So
we were always here?
Like someone flipped a switch on?
Right.
You know that they say like some of this is a simulation. It's gaining popularity. And since you did that whole series on YouTube, which I binged, we were talking about all the AI stuff and how the world is only rendered as you see it, kind of like a Call of Duty video game. We could be like Sims. And I thought that you
like
kind of
Phil
agreed
Sims?
with that.
Like Phil Sims?
The quarterback?
Yeah. We're like
no,
him?
like simulation.
Right.
You know, simulation.
So you're not necessarily buoyant. You're in the world.
Yeah.
You're looking straight for me. You're looking at a camera, but I might not be Robert Downey Jr. Is that what you're trying to say?
Possible. You could be a simulation of Robert Downey. You could be bits and bytes, pixels, if you will. Bits and bytes.
Sure. Nacho flavor or ranch.
Or chili con carne. That that was your old school go-to.
Sure was, until I had to replace my entire underwear collection.
That happens. As you're older, I don't know where you're at with that, but that's not my business.
It could be. Do you have any questions for me?
Dude, when you did Soap Dish, right? Somebody said you and Sally Field would go and she taught you. This is going to sound weird, but there was remember the whole river dance thing?
Right. Well, I always liked Sally because she smelled like a cupcake.
Yeah.
She had this, even if you were like a few feet from her, you could still smell cupcake.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed hanging out with her, and I was a huge Gidget fan. So I was incredibly enveloped in her world and her life and her juxtaposition to the world. So that was weird. Soap Dish was weird because I didn't necessarily come into my own until Lesson Zero, in my opinion. And that show in and of itself was strange and weird and cathartic. And I've said that before, but I mean it again. It had this sort of roof to it that wasn't necessarily tiered, but it did have the right shingles.
Yeah.
And I tried to just sit on it. And that's what I've been doing my whole life. I've been sitting at the top of a roof, trying not to fall off. And I found that, and I do find that to be incredibly nerve-wracking and maybe a little too nerve-wracking. I mean, maybe I need, different kinds of therapy. I shouldn't have brought this up.
Oh, you went. I mean, I get what you're saying, but Sally Field was in The Flying Nun. Do you remember that?
That's right. She was in The Flying Nun. She was also Gidget.
She was Gidget, but after she was Gidget, she was a nun, and the nun would fly from roof to roof.
Right.
So I see what you did.
See what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So
you were kind of waiting on a shingling for the nun to fly to be Gidget.
I'm just looking for callbacks.
Is that?
I'm just looking for callbacks. Because I just find callbacks so good because they call things back, but they don't call, they don't call, it's like a bird call. It's just like this sort of this sort of backyard roller skating rink that was supposed to be a swimming pool that turned into be, a batting cage. And I was sort of I was on top of it, like I was on the roof, but in this particular juxtaposition, and I've said juxtaposition probably 5 times, but I mean every single time I say it, this particular set of rules and engagements, I was I was the flying nun. She did it again.
Okay. Yeah, that was, yeah, okay.
See, it's almost like as if I'm interviewing myself. I feel like I'm taking over too much. But how do you feel?
Dude, you're you. In the
Right.
pecking order of the wood, you're you. So you're on the Rushmore here. So I'm a player in the game, but I'm fine to give over to you. You should. You have a lot more experience and say than me.
Do you have anything you want to promote or talk about, or what are you up to?
I have a special on Tubi, which is a streaming platform, and I also it's on Amazon Prime called Stupid Smart. And other than just on Jamie Kennedy at Twitter, Jamie Kennedy on Instagram, Facebook, and find out for new projects. I got a podcast called Hate to Break It to You that I'm starting to revive. I'd love to get you on that sometime. I know you're crazy.
Love to do it. Absolutely love to do it.
Really?
I don't know if I have time. Not sure I have time. I barely had time to do this, but I will reminisce. I will ruminate. I will think about it, and have someone call you back and tell them what I've finally come to the conclusion of.
Well, you can't just. Okay, I'm asking.
I'm
you
not going to
now.
spend this. I'm not going to spend this. Well, I appreciate you asking me this, but we have to go to commercial.
Okay.
No, just kidding. But the thing is, of course I want to do it. Can I do it? I don't know. Do I have time? Maybe. We'll have to see. Of course I want to do it. We'll see if we can. Let's do it.
I'll come to the Malibu Mart, dude.
We might want to meet there.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sorry, I called back. I just called back.
Who's that?
No, I did a call back because you were talking about right. Call back, and I'm none. My bad.
Well, this is great. I mean, we had a good time. This is fun, right? Did you have a good time?
It was great.
Jeff Richards this is his podcast. I'm just a vessel filling in today, and what an experience it was. I had a wonderful time talking to you. I think you're a great guy, and you're a very talented, hilarious person who is like quick with a wit. Nobody's quicker than you, and you're growing into this sort of like master phase, and the beard is like. It's like early Rush Limbaugh, it's like it's just sort of, whatever it is.
No, dude, Limbaugh. Remember the dad on Father Murphy?
Okay, I don't want to end it. I don't want to end it here because it's like Father Murphy. I mean, Father.
No,
Murphy.
But he had that beard. I thought it was going to be that. That's where I thought you were going.
Well, this is the thing. You have to know where you're going with your beard. And I'm just my opinion.
Okay.
Because I can guess where it's going. And you are in this transitional phase where you're coming out of this, like, the Sherlock Holmes. We said Sherlock Holmes. I was in Sherlock Holmes. You have this sort of like this post Renaissance thing going on. Like you could be a painter of some sort, maybe French. But if it gets any bigger, it's going to be like, Colonel Sanders or something.
Okay. I mean, that's a little weird because he was older. I don't think I'm that older, but
no,
I get
just given the very shape of it. I'm not. It's not a personal commentary on your.
So you're not.
Looks.
You're saying with the goatee, I could. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
With the goatee might be too much. A beard might be right. Goatee might be too much. See, subtle might not be right. Okay, so we're probably going to cut this part out.
Okay, listen, it's your world.
You are a tremendous human being. You are a saint. You are a pillar. You are a skateboarding. Do you skateboard?
No.
Okay, so you're not that. But you are a champion of things. You have become this sort of, and I don't want to say juxtaposition. I don't want to say ethereal again. I don't want to say any of these words. So you're really a person who is a loss for words. I have a loss for words with you.
Okay. Well,
so I don't think I can give a bigger compliment than that. So just say something.
I would like to say thank you, dude. RDJ, I love you. Love Jeff. I'm sorry Jeff isn't here, but dude, I wouldn't have been able to catch up with you if he was. So you're the man. Do my podcast. Hate to break it to you. Malibu Mart, you and me.
Okay, Jamie. Have a wonderful night. Talk soon, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Just all right. That's Jamie Kennedy. I'm Robert Downey Jr. This is Jeff Richards Show, and I am filling in for Jeff Richards this one and only time, unless you ask me to do it again. Have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.